All right, how's everybody doing? Video here today. This is by request. I had a viewer a couple weeks ago. He sent me a message and just wanted to know my opinion on players to buy, sell, and then top products. I'm not sure if he was spanning like different years or just 2016. So I just put like the best products that I think for 2016 that are gonna hold value over the years, the most collectible products, kind of the popular products that people like, people buy. Well, let's just start over here. I just kind of this is all off the top of my head. I just went class by class and just thought of players, and this is just my opinion, but players to buy, players to sell, and here's the products. So let's just start off with the players to buy, and these are in no particular order. This is just basically throwing players on a list. A lot of these are pretty obvious. Some of them maybe a little surprised, but number one, Aaron Rodgers, and this is just the type of quarterback once in a generation, putting up crazy numbers. And I don't think his stuff's peaked either. He's got one ring. He's probably got about 4 or 5 years left of football in him. There's a chance he could get that second ring, but I don't really think it's going to matter. I think he's going to finish first or second all time passer rating, and all the top stats like that. He's not going to have the touchdown passes or yards, I don't think. But as far as being an efficient quarterback who made all the throws and makes some throws that most or not all quarterbacks can make. So Larry Fitzgerald, often forgotten, I think, in the hobby. He's creeping up. He's in top five all time for yards. His receptions, I think they're in the top five too. He's over 100 career touchdowns receiving. He's going back to Arizona, and his stuff's in my opinion, it's a little soft. So he's a player that I would stock up on him. And these are kind of the players that you could be able to buy and not have to worry about the cards dropping tremendously, as opposed to the players I have on the right here. So next up is a guy that, he's in a ton of my videos. I went crazy December, January buying his stuff up. I think he's got a bright future. The only downside is he's a running back. So teams going with the two-back committee could get hurt. Spell carries to Kadeem Carey or Langford. But if he stays healthy, the way his stuff's priced now, it has came up a little bit. But I think he's still a good buy this offseason. As people get into baseball cards, I think his stuff will cool off some. So I think Jordan Howard should be on the list. One of the newest members to the Hall of Fame, LaDainian Tomlinson. His stuff, it has actually been going up. People have been, kind of noticing the type of career he had, which was absolutely sensational. But his stats are there. The highlight tapes for him are fantastic. Tomlinson, one of the top 5, top 7 tailbacks all time. And this one might surprise the people because his stuff's absolutely through the roof. Never seen it higher. 5 Super Bowl rings, but I'm still going to say Tom Brady's a buy. And I don't think you're going to be able to sit around during the offseason and this stuff's going to drop much. It kind of reminds me of like a Apple stock. It's already this high, but you're thinking, oh, it can't go any higher, and then it gaps up. So I honestly still think his cards haven't reached like their full potential. I think after he retires, there's a chance he gets a 6th ring too. So I would definitely have Brady on here. Cam Newton, his stuff's decreased by about 50% from this time now to this time last year. So Cam Newton's a guy that is going to break the all-time rushing touchdown record by a quarterback. I think he already did. Rushing yards, Vic was around 6,000. I think he'll break that too. Just a sensational talent. And he's so damn big that it's tough for him to miss games and get injured. He does get nicked up a little bit, and sometimes he's got a bit of an attitude problem, but I still think he's a guy. He's going into his 7th year next fall already, so he's got a lot of cards that are pretty low right now. One of my favorites too. It's not a bias pick. It's more of a his stats are really, really pushing towards Peyton Manning already. He's got the Super Bowl ring back in 2010. I was checking his stats next to Peyton's, and he's going to need about 3 solid seasons, I think, to get the all-time touchdown record. And his yards, I'm almost positive he's going to break the all-time passing yards record. I saw a stat, and it was 7. There's been 7 seasons where a quarterback's thrown for 5,000 or more. Don't quote me on this. I'm trying to remember how I read it. This was a couple months ago, and Breeze has 4 or 5 of them. I think Peyton has 2, but that might be off a little bit. But it's something pretty substantial. Derek Carr, his stuff already jumped up last year, probably 30 to 50%. I think just the way the Raiders are built, they've improved the way he plays. He's got a true number 1 receiver in Cooper. I just think Derek Carr is kind of a quarterback. He reminds me of Rodgers. Obviously not as good as Rodgers, but they definitely are similar to me. And then I just put 2 in this spot. Their stuff really doesn't sell for that much for the class of elite wide receivers they are. AJ Green and Julio Jones. And these 2, if they can stay healthy, barring injury, they're surefire Hall of Fame picks. They've got a lot of badass rookies from 2011. These 2 would be guys I would be stocking up on. I think over the years their stuff is going to continue to increase. Then I just put 3 quarterbacks from the 2004 rookie class who I think will all eventually be in the Hall of Fame. And we got Roethlisberger, Eli, and Rivers. Stats just keep piling on for these guys. He's got 2 rings. He's got two. Rivers, I don't think he's ever going to get one, but he's got the numbers and stats, which are crazy. So a couple other players that didn't make the list that I was thinking about after was Matt Ryan. I still think he's a buy because his stuff really doesn't sell for that much for being an elite quarterback. I'm not a fan of him, but I still think he's a buy. And Randy Moss, his stuff has been going up steadily. He's going to the Hall of Fame. So as for the sells, you're going to see more running backs on this list just because it's so hard for them to keep their value. Now, Gurley was a 2015 rookie who broke onto the scene. Didn't have quite the year that Zeke had, but he still had a pretty damn good year. I think he was about 1,200 yards and about 4.7 a carry. His stuff's probably decreased by more than 50%, and that's being lenient because it's probably more. Gurley, it's not the strongest sell right now because I think his stuff is pretty much bottomed out. But if you don't expect him to do too much next year either, but I mean his team lacks weapons. He's got a second-year quarterback in Jared Goff. I just think Gurley at this point, he's still got the potential, but I think should be a sell right now. Zeke and Dak are the 2 most obvious on the list. I know they had sensational rookie seasons. I know they play for the Dallas Cowboys. Awesome market for cards, and they have a huge market share. But I just think their stuff's too high. I've seen this so many times with rookies coming out of the gate. Their stuff's so inflated, and then 2017 products are going to come out, and people are going to want the 2017, and they're going to lose some interest in the 2016 stuff. Go back to 2006, Reggie Bush stuff. Part of his problem was he didn't live up to the hype. Like Liner, Vince Young, I mean, those guys just didn't live up to the hype. But, I mean, their stuff was really high after the rookie year, and then it just continued to fall. It's not that I don't think they're, like, the players on the right, it's not that I don't think they're good players, well, except for Bortles, but it's just that I think their stuff it's a nice time to move their stuff if you're kind of doing this as an investment, which I don't know how, like. Alright guys, sorry about that. My camera crapped out on me. Battery's just terrible on these things. But I think I was right talking about Dak and Zeke, how it's just going to be so hard for their cards to be worth the same or similar values this time next year, or going down the road. So those are definite sells. Garoppolo's kind of one of those guys. He's not proven. He had 2 or 3 starts and he played pretty well, but the odds are he's going to get traded, maybe Cleveland, and his stuff's going to spike up on hype. But there's no results yet. So if you have any of his stuff, I would probably move it. Le'Veon Bell, tailback. I know he's one of the best backs in the game, but it's going to be hard for him to continue to sustain the workload he's getting, receiving and rushing. There's only so much time he's going to be able to play, and that's just the way it is with tailbacks now. Edelman is a fantastic player. I'm not taking anything away from him. I just think his stuff's gotten pretty hot lately, but I think he's more of a product of Brady than like an elite receiver, slot guy, you know. But I would dump him. Bortles his mechanics are just awful. He looked so terrible last year. I think you just gotta get rid of his stuff. Move on to a different quarterback. There's so many other quarterbacks to collect. Jags are a dumpster fire, so I would definitely move Bortles. Luck is an awesome player. Don't get me wrong, but hasn't had much success in the playoffs lately. He had a pretty abysmal 2015 season. 2016 was a solid season for him, but his team was 8-8 maybe. And his stuff is so high. Like his stuff compares to like Breeze and almost Rodgers, but I don't think he doesn't have a Super Bowl. He is much younger than them, but I'm just saying I think his stuff is worth too much for what he's for how good a player he is. That's just my opinion, though. And then these are probably two guys that's probably too late to sell. I think you got to throw in the towel on Robert Griffin III. He just didn't show much with Cleveland, which was a bad team, but I think the other quarterbacks played better than him. Osweiler, I mean, he was terrible last season. He would throw 40 passes and throw for 120, 130 yards. And then tailback had a great season. Jay Ajayi had two 200-yard games, but he's a tailback, and it just goes back to he's hot now. If he gets hurt next season, doesn't play, his stuff's not going to be worth much at all. It's just the way the NFL is now. So I'm kind of trying to get through these players pretty quickly. Don't need to talk about them too much. Product-wise, though, Prism, I think this stuff is going to hold up down the road. The numbered, refractor, auto, and just the ones that are numbered are very collectible. Comparable to Topps Chrome, I would say. You know, we all still miss Topps Chrome, but Prism's something to collect, and it looks pretty damn good. They did a good job with the photography front and back on that. Contenders, terrible to break, awesome to collect. And this set, the rookie ticket autos are very condition sensitive, so look for graded, you know, PSA and Beckett ones in good condition of players that you want to collect for these. Optic, centering issues on that set. Still a sharp looking set, and box prices have held pretty steady. Certified is kind of one, it's like a wild card. I don't know if a lot of people like Certified. I think the rookie patch autos are some of the nicest looking cards they put out this year, and I think it's going to be something that, you know, it's not going to hold the value like these other products, but it's still going to be damn good set down the road. And last is Immaculate. Only thing I'll say with that is chipping issues. So if you're not a grader, it doesn't matter. If you are, it kind of sucks because most of the nicer patch cards are chipped up pretty bad. So that's it for this video. Just wanted to roll through it, and I'll do some more of these down the road because I think they're pretty interesting to gauge the market. But that's it.